everyone, how you doing? Stop whinging, I'm here. It's Friday, so I'm having a can. Nothing that's going to fuck me up, though. It's Friday, right? You can graduate from tea. This is a good one, isn't it? Alec Baldwin. This is fantastic for a conspiracy theory, isn't it? Because, I reckon, I'm just putting out there, I reckon if Epstein was enough to ruffle people's feathers, and the fact that everybody in Hollywood, it wasn't just a few people, it was like all of them, fucking all of them, knew that Weinstein was forcing the birds to give him a gobble before he'd give them a part. It's like, that's the deal he had going on, wasn't it? You give me a gobble, I'll give you a part. Now, there's two things I want to say about that. First of all, I would be more than happy to give a fat old Jewish man a gobble if I knew for a fact it was going to get me like a 6-movie deal. So I do think you can make an argument that Rose McGowan was merely engaging in extremely well-paid prostitution. Like, really, if you're getting $10 million for a nosh, you're killing all those women in Middlesbrough who work over the border. Killing them. So I'm playing devil's advocate like I like to do. trying to wave the flag for someone that nobody wants to wave a flag for. I'm kidding, obviously. Don't anybody be thinking I'm pro sex assault at this point. But yeah, you'd have to, wouldn't you? For that much money. I don't know how much money you'd get. Because he basically said to her, get a gobble and I'll put you in all the Scream films. If you get to be in like 4 Hollywood movies, surely you're getting like, I don't know, tens of millions of dollars. I'd do anything for $10 million. I'd give Rolf Harris a chew for $10 million. I'd like sort of wedge my head through the bars and quickly try and get it done before the guards came back. But yeah, this is great for a conspiracy theory, isn't it? Fucking great. Because all the shit that's gone on there in Hollywood, I'm thinking, shit, what's going on then? Maybe, see, people have said, oh yeah, maybe it was like Brandon Lee, right? And he got he put a dummy round into a handgun, and then the blank discharged it. But I don't know, man. Like, Alec Baldwin's a Hollywood insider, right? He knew about Weinstein and Epstein and all of that. Definitely. Right, so there's one. And now he's just shot some woman, right? Wasn't a bloke. That's another bit of a coincidence. Who's the ones who do all the whistleblowing in Hollywood? Women. And he's slaughtered this woman. And obviously the director that lived, he's all right. But the woman's caught it up. Maybe Miss Hutchins, she's not married as well. They're the ones all the old perverts will be propositioning. Miss Hutchins, she's caught it up. Baldwin's give her the good news. So I think, what if Miss Hutchins was going to blow the whistle? So Alec thought, fuck it, she's got to get both barrels. There's worse conspiracy theories out there than that one. Sounds plausible to me. Yeah, if anyone's got any firearms question, ask Sadwings, he's American. He knows all about killing things. Blank was used to fire a rifle grenade. Oh, God, mate, don't talk about that. Sadwings, probably, you aren't even aware of this, but in the British military, we're so behind the times. When I joined up in 99, we were still using a round-propelled grenade launcher. In about 2005, we got the UGL, underslung grenade launcher, which is Gucci and works properly. Very accurate. When we were in Baghdad, we got engaged by the enemy just as we left the green zone. And a mate of mine literally just span round, fired the UGL in a general direction, killed 3 of them. It's like, boo! They were like, bab, 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 doosh, all dead. We put our foot down, as we always did when we were going across Route Irish. And then the Americans followed up and said, oh yeah, 3 KIA there. And I was like, that was a fucking good shot, wasn't it? But before that, we actually did used to issue a rifle propel. I don't even remember the name of it because obviously I'm getting old and this is in the late 90s. But we actually used to use this weird... Someone in the chat will probably be able to tell me. Anyone who joined up in the sort of, I guess, early 90s, remember the name of it? It was like, it was a proper Chad bit of kit. The recoil was intense and the accuracy was fucking appalling. And it was, you put it down, or you put it over the barrel of a bog standard rifle, fire a round out of it, and then the grenade travels on the round itself. Like it was proper dog shit. I don't know why we didn't develop the underslung grenade launcher earlier, but that's what we used to use. So, in inertia, I don't even know. I don't remember the name of it. We used them on the range once, and I was like, okay, these are absolutely dog shit. This is where you've seen Hollywood movies in the mid-90s, and the Americans have all got those cool M203 grenade launchers. You know, it's like, boop, like fucking, what's his name? Dutch on a Predator, just winging them around willy-nilly. We were using some piece of shit. I mean, it's the same one. I'm going to stop spinning military dates, but I'll tell you another one. I read The Bear That Went Over the Mountain before we went to Afghanistan, right? And there's a chapter in that book where the guy who wrote it's just rubbishing the British anti-aircraft missile. I think at the time it was like blowpipe or something. It was earlier than our current generation. But basically, we knew it didn't work. And we still... Well, that's even worse, isn't it, Ollie? We've had the M203 since the 60s, and we were still fucking using weird, round-propelled, awkward... Looked like a fucking whistling air bomb that you stick over the end of your rifle in the 90s. So, you know, you'd think we could have come up with a UGL before circa 2005, wouldn't you? But yeah, blowpipe, absolutely dog shit. And in this book, there's a chapter that says he witnesses one of his fighters, because obviously we were covertly supplying the Mujahideen when they were fighting the Soviets. They had stingers off the Yanks, which basically won the war against the Russians. And they got blowpipe off us. And this bloke said he witnessed one of his men fire about 9 of them at a Russian hind, and every single one of them missed. And then he got blew up and he lived. And the general said to him afterwards, I told you, never ever fire from the same position more than once. I mean, and that's bog standard infantry tactics, right? When I was in Afghanistan, you fire a couple of rounds and then you hit your belt buckle and then you roll 4 or 5 feet at least. Because obviously, it's not like in the video games. If you fire more than a couple of rounds, an enemy's eye is instantly drawn to that flash, regardless of the apparent flash hider or the muzzle suppressor. And then they'll obviously be just sat there with the sights over where they've just witnessed the gunfire from. And the second you pop your head back up, they'll blow it off. So he said to him, you don't fire more than once from the same position. You know this. Why were you doing it? And he said, I had such a good view of them. And I was convinced. He said, I thought maybe the first couple weren't working properly. So he just kept firing at them. And didn't hit. Apparently, you couldn't hit a cow's ass with a... I was going to say you couldn't hit a cow's ass with a shovel. You couldn't hit a cow's ass with a shovel if you strapped a fucking blowpipe to the end of it. That's how bad the British anti-aircraft weapons were. Stingers work perfectly. British, shite. So that'll be corruption again, because we are the most incompetent fucking country in the world, the British. Our politicians are bent as fuck. It was probably they tested the Stinger, realised it worked, tested the blowpipe, realised it didn't, but then whoever it was who manufactured the blowpipe, it bunged the defence secretary 200 grand and he went, okay, let's use that. Let's use that, but it doesn't work. Oh yeah, but I can get a new conservatory. So who cares if it doesn't work? Who cares if our lads can't hit anything? Yeah, I get a new conservatory. In fact, I can segue me nicely into a rant about the Defence Secretary, because he's an absolute twat. Absolute chopper. When I made a video all about this a couple of months back, go and watch it if you haven't, about that operation. Basically, Penn, the Bootneck, who started the charity Nowzad to get the dogs out of fucking Afghanistan. They just made out like he was the scum of the earth for fucking 3 months because the Defence Secretary is a lying, self-serving rat bastard. And Penn Farthing, whatever you think of him, rightly or wrongly, tried to do a good thing, made a charity, and tried to do what he thought perceived was a good thing. And again, cynical bastards are like, oh yeah, he did it for money and power, all this fucking bollocks. Who cares what he did it for? If you do a good thing, people like whinging about him, you know, he did it because he wanted to be like famous. He set a charity up, he tried to do a good thing. Ben Bradley and these shitbag politicians did what they always do and shit all over a working class man, a Bootneck, to make themselves look better. They lied and lied and lied and lied. He sourced his own fucking aircraft paid for on like Subscribestar or whatever it was. Got his own people to pay for a private aircraft. And then Ben Bradley and his shitbag politicians, my hatred for them knows no bounds, lied about him because of their incompetence and stupidity and ignorance. So I'm not having people slagging off Penn Farthing. I don't even know the bloke. I've never met him. Maybe he is a bit vainglorious and he got into it for the wrong reasons. Maybe he is. But on that individual case, the man didn't do anything wrong. And the weasels in government trying to paint him as some sort of fucking shitbag just because he was trying to do a good thing and he paid for his own aircraft was disgraceful. And if you swallowed it, hook, line and sinker, and I'm sure some of you did, because it seemed like on Twitter it was sort of 75-25 against him. You just swallowed a line. Who do you trust? Normal working class blokes who happen to join the military, usually because they're trying to escape poverty? Or politicians? Who? Politicians, the worst scum in society. We know how it works in England. It's like, you know, if there's a scale again, I like doing the scales. It's like normal people, very, very devout practitioners of a certain religion, pedos, nonces and rapists, and then politicians. They're down here. Oh yeah, lawyers. I think lawyers are like about that much above politicians, but it's normal people, everybody else, criminal scum, lawyers and politicians. So that's what we know. Penn Farthing must be a made-up name. No, well, obviously Penn isn't going to be his real name, is it, Neil? His surname's Farthing, so everyone in the corps called him Penn. That's going to be the crack, unless his parents are fucking jippos and they just come up with it anyway. Unless his parents are like these kids who watch Game of Thrones and then give the kids completely ridiculous names thinking it's cool. I mean, seriously. I joined the out to escape the troubles. I joined the corps to escape Middlesbrough. And it was great. Because no matter where I went, anywhere in the world, it was always better than Middlesbrough. Iraq, Afghanistan, Sierra Leone, Senegal, I went to Africa, Middle East, you name it. Fucking sound. Spot on. Fucking loved it in Baghdad. It's like I was on holiday. I'd have stayed. I'd have moved. So yeah, it's shocking that. They totally took the piss out of Penn Farthing. The man didn't do anything wrong. It's politicians. They don't admit they're incompetent. So they stitched him up. Normal working class bloke. Absolute choppers. Yeah, penny farthing the bike, obviously. If you didn't know that, I don't know what to tell you. That's obviously where his nicknames come from. There's loads of weird ones in the car. I told you, I don't really understand most of them. If your surname's Knocker, you always get called... If your surname's White, you always get called Knocker. If your surname's Collins, you always get called Jumper. So if you see a bloke on the BBC who starts a charity, he's called Jumper Collins. He's not actually called Jumper. He's probably called Paul Collins. It's just a military slang. There's loads of them. Smudge, Smith, Digger, Gardner. There's fucking loads. Tug for Taylor, I've heard. Jonah is usually Jones, Jonesy. Dead common. Nowadays it wouldn't work, would it? Because the reason they all have nicknames is because in the 30s and the 40s, there was probably only about 100 surnames. If you went on any military regiment like me, Taylor, there's always going to be White, Smith, Taylor, Jones, Gardiner, hence Digger, hence the nicknames for everyone, Nobby. It's like, nowadays it wouldn't work, would it? Because we've had so many people from all around the world. They'll all have mad as fuck nicknames. You'll go in the car now and there's going to be like a bloke in your troop called like Nunkwankbo Unjindibo. What's his fucking nickname going to be? Mustafa Staffer? I don't know. We can't do it anymore. But in the old days, that's what we had. What's the most embarrassing nickname? I swear to God, this is a true story. And it isn't even that weird. But to a bootneck, it was super weird. When we went to Northern Ireland, we got amalgamated with 2-9 Commando. So because K Company, which was the company I was in, was so small, we were down to about 68 lads. You know, you struggle to recruit in the Marines back in the day because the training was hard. So it's hard enough getting 100 lads to try and join up. It's even harder when out of the 100 who attempt it, you only get like 4 or 5 pass out. So there was real recruitment issues in the late 90s and the early 90s. And K Company didn't have enough people in it. We were really struggling for manpower at the time. We had about 60 lads. So they amalgamated our company with one of the batteries from 2-9 Commando. Sort of an unheard of thing at the time. We didn't do anything else with them. And it was only one battery, which is a company to the artillery. We got amalgamated with them. So 7-9 battery came to 4-2 Commando, lived with us for a few months, did all of our pre-deployment training. And we went to Northern Ireland with them. And one of the lads in 7-9 battery's surname was Rhea, which is, again, quite a common nickname. Surname, Rhea, R-E-Y-E-R. And we thought it was hilarious because when the Sergeant Major's reading out the roll on the morning, he says, Gunner Rhea. And everyone was like, I remember the Sergeant Major when he's reading out the fucking list. To them, it's normal because Gunner's their rank. But to us, who we're all Marines, it's dead weird. And he's reading out the nominal and he's like, Taylor. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, Rhea, Gunner Rhea. And everyone was like, ha ha ha. And he said to him, why didn't you just join the fucking infantry, you silly bastard? Private Rhea is all right, but Gunner Rhea sounds a bit shit. So that was a good one, but not really a nickname, is it? It was just his actual surname and his rank. So anyone out there who's called Rhea, join the Navy, join the Air Force, join the infantry. Don't go in the Royal Artillery, or that's going to be your nickname. Or if you are going to do it, work your socks off for a couple of years and get yourself promoted to corporal, because Bombardier Rhea is just rhymes a bit. But it's definitely better than Gunner. Frank the Bastard, that's a good nickname. There was I don't know if it was true or not, but everyone used to talk about a 4-2, how there was a Sergeant Major who used to put on orders every morning. Sergeant Major so-and-so, the hardest man in the unit. And then they said when they went ashore for the Christmas piss-up, he got filled in by one of the lads in the company, like they're all gobbing off at him because drunk. The Christmas piss-up is obviously when the year's grudges come out, isn't it? Like you deal with it all year and then you get mega shit-faced. And then, there's all the grudges going, you bastard, I've always wanted to tell you this, but I've never had the nerve. And then apparently someone knocked the shite out of him. And they said, to his credit, the next day on orders it said, Sergeant Major so-so, officially the second hardest man in the unit. So apparently when he got the shite knocked out of him, he was man enough to concede defeat. Anyway, shall we do news now? Obviously, that was my opening monologue's getting longer. That was like 20 minutes just talking complete shit. My nickname is Handbag. I'll leave it there. The Flemish Weaver. Never been in there. Turkish Slipper. Always turned up at the end. I think I've spanned the dip before about one of the lads who turned up at 40 Commando when we were going to Afghanistan. And he was mega late. And obviously everyone's meant to be fell in outside the armoury at like fucking hell, proper early. It was like 10 to 5 or something, going to Bryce Norton to fly out. And he was late. It got to about 5:30 or something, and they were like, we can't fucking wait for him any longer. And the boss was going mental. And then suddenly you just hear like, and everyone turns around. There's like this piece of shit car coming down the main drag, like smoke pissing out of it, fucking proper fucked. And he pulls up and it's him, and he jumps out and he's got his bags in the back, and he's like not dressed correctly, but he's got his gear in the back. And I was like, what's gone on? And he said, I was just driving up to Norton Manor, and as he turned off the roundabout closest to the camp, he smashed into the back end of some old bloke. He said he was obviously still pissed because he went out the night before for like a last run ashore with his mates. He jumps out the car and the bloke's like, oh my God. He had no top on, like a pair of fucking boxer shorts, bare feet. And he's threw all his gear in the back of the car. And he's like, oh my God, you're not wearing any shoes. And then he said he came over and went, oh, hang on. He said he stunk a drink and he went, fucking hell, and you stink of whiskey. And he went, let's talk about the shoes again, shall we? Anyway, short version is he did make it. The boss went mental and said you've got fucking 60 seconds to get in there and get rigged correctly. And then grab your weapon or you're getting fucking put on a charge, you prick. But he managed it, so well done to him. Anyway, so that's enough pointless dits. I'm going to do some news. Alec Baldwin, I did want to entertain the conspiracy theory because I think it's dodgy as fuck. He doesn't exactly look devastated there, does he? He looks like he's sort of buzzing. He's probably on the phone there and Weinstein in jail like, you're all right, mate. I rubbed her out. We can make it look like an accident. Get in. So yeah, I think that's dodgy, me. Obviously, the director, the bloke, he was merely injured, but the single lady got fucking took out by yet another career Hollywood pervert. bit of conjecture there from me. No evidence that Alec Baldwin's a pervert. I'm just saying, if you've been in Hollywood for 50 years, probably, right? I'm not being libelous there. I can just go with probably. If he wasn't involved in some way with all that dodgy shit that goes on when he's been there that long, what do you think it's possible? Do you think it's possible that you can be in Hollywood for 50 years and you haven't been involved in any of that fucking deviancy they all get up to? I don't think so. So yeah, there's that. And he doesn't look particularly traumatized, does he? Fucking arsehole. Oh. Is that her? See, she's quite tidy as well. Yeah, they'll have been all over that. They'll have been on that like white on rice. She wouldn't have been able to crawl without fucking 50 fat old perverts trying to fucking tweak her nipples, will they? Want to hear the phone call he made to his daughter oh yeah, I do remember that, yeah. Absolute weasel, isn't he? Oh yeah, and his fake Spanish wife who protect. So basically, it's dodgy as fuck. If there's one group of people who you would think would be involved, it's these fucking weasels. So yeah, that'll do for me. No evidence, pure conjecture, but fun to talk about. I think it's a wee bit suspect. Right, let's do something else. I do want to talk about this before I go. This is a good one. Not on the BBC, though. In fact, shall we see if it's on the BBC? Just so I can keep in theme with my channel. But they don't ever report on stuff. This is why I have to sometimes dodge the BBC. The BBC don't report on anything that contradicts their worldview because they're not a news channel. Yeah, look, nothing. Type in Molnupiravir. How did that pronounce? Molnupiravir, whatever. Nothing. Stick that in on BBC. Search the entire website. Nothing. They aren't interested in talking about it because it'll contradict their narrative. Because now it looks like the fucking thing works, so they don't want to talk about it. Molnupiravir. There you go. Nothing. Nout. Oh, hang on. There's one. It's just not in the headline. Okay, that's on the radio. It's not a fucking story. It's just on the, World Service. But basically, yeah, sweeping under the table then, aren't there? There's no stories on there. You have to listen to the bastard World Service if you want to hear anything about it. So, shite. And the issue is, oh no, there we go. No, that's again, it's the podcast. It should be on the fucking homepage is my point. Pepe Le Pew. You shouldn't have to be going on there, do a search, and then when you go down there, you can find the World Service and the Global podcast. It should be there. Homepage. Instead, you've got creepy fucking pervert shoots a woman in the face. Why is it not in there? And I check the homepage every day. It's in ivermectin with a party hat on. See, that is funny as. If that is basically what it is, that is funny as. And it totally makes sense. Again, right, because I don't even want to say that because you're getting the shit, don't you, with YouTube. That fucking thing is out of patent and we know it. It's just all so dodgy. The World Service is useless, but the World Service is better than BBC Pigeon. You do not know the way. So yeah, proper fucking dodgy. So it's not on the BBC. They're not interested in telling you the good stuff. What I found is this one. Molnupiravir seen as trump card in Japan's battle against COVID-19. I don't understand our first world, a functioning world. In fact, let's be honest. We should come up with a new word for Japan because we're first world and they're better than us at fucking everything. You don't see jihadis blowing little girls up outside pop concerts in Japan. I've spent a lot of time in Japan. I went there loads of times when I was a young lad, probably been like, 7 times or something. I fucking love going over there. You don't see them getting stabbed in the eye by jihadis. You don't see their women and kids getting blown up at pop concerts. The crime rate's proper low. The murder rate's proper low. They have a nice, cohesive society. They're better than us. And they'll rubbish it and say, oh, it's Japan. It's a first world country who probably have a much more superior health system than the United States. So let's just nip that in the bud straight away. They always want to make like everywhere's a third world. Oh, they're only giving it to everyone in Mexico. Yeah, but that's a fucking first world country. They're not like it's not like going into Botswana and, checking under rocks for grubs you can eat, thinking it'll help heal you. These are fucking doing testing. Just as rigorous, probably more so because America and Britain are useless, than we are. And they'll rubbish it because Japan's doing it. They don't want to talk about it. It says the government has expressed interest in introducing an oral antiviral drug for COVID-19 by the end of the year. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida is saying that such treatments could become a key trump card in the prolonged uphill battle against coronavirus. US drug maker Merck & Co. Last week filed an emergency use authorization application with the US Food and Drug Administration for molnupiravir with the treatment of mild and moderate COVID-19 symptoms. They also said it works with people that have got comorbidities. I think the story I read was at least one, right? I've quickly read this before I came on. Yeah, an interim analysis of 775 non-hospitalised patients with at least one risk factor. So these are people who've got at least one comorbidity. Obesity, being over 60, diabetes, what have you. It says the drug has roughly halved the risk of hospitalisation or death. So, halved the risk of hospitalisation and death. Can't argue with that. Halved. You could cut if it's literally just get the death toll, half it. Yeah, it's that uncomplex. If approved, it would be the world's first antiviral pill for COVID-19. Well, guess who was talking about it a fucking year ago? Guess. And guess why it got slowed down? Because of naked politicking by the human scum that we call the political class, the elites. Elite. Like I said, elite. That word used to mean something. The SAS were the elite. The SBS were the elite. The modern elite are like full-on special needs. We should just reverse that now. Elite should be if you have to have a tube up your ass to breathe. If you're on the fucking intensive care ward of the local hospital and you're brain dead because you fell in a pond drunk and you spent 11 minutes underwater. Elite. And our professionals, our journalists, our writers, our famed academics and our politicians, They should be called the brain dead because that's what they are. They are worse at random shit than we are. They're useless at everything. What do you think Boris Johnson's better than me at? I'd knock the shite out of him. I'd outrun him. I don't even think he's more eloquent than me. I mean, I swear a lot because I like to stay in touch with my working class heritage, but I have a nice, sizable lexicon, right, to use the Americanism. He's useless. He's just a fat, saggy journalist who's never done a proper job in his whole life. I can drive a truck better than Boris. I've done that for a job, right? I know more about the aerospace industry and AS9100 than Boris Johnson. He's never done a proper job. He knows about sitting down and talking shit about people in an eloquent manner and being fucking useless at everything else, everything physical. They're just completely useless. The elite, and no wonder why people are scornful of experts. Again, like I said, Michael Gove, it's the cleverest thing he's ever said. The elites took the piss out of him for 2 years because he said the public's sick of experts. It's the cleverest thing Michael Gove's ever said. The pob-faced fucking dickhead. Doesn't he look like Pob? Pob-faced cunt. Let's get Pob up just to. I wonder if you Google Pob, does he come up? It's going to be a hard one. Yeah, there he is. Michael Gove. Pob-faced cunt. There he is. Oh, look, someone else has thought of it before me. He's on Flickr. There you go. Pob-faced fucker. That is the cleverest thing the pob-faced bastard has ever said. So, he's right. The elites. Turns out, ladies and gentlemen, Merck's COVID remedy was purposely slowed by a whistleblower, which we all know what whistleblower means. A whistleblower is usually long-standing civil servant or political fucking activist. That's what a modern whistleblower is. It's all bollocks. Again, and this is the Wall Street Journal. I know I keep saying it, and obviously you guys know the crack. So please stop picking me up in the chat every time I say it's a reputable source. But you do have to use these. You have to couch everything in this type of language, don't you? And use these terms for mainstream publications or streaming platforms like YouTube, or they get angry and they ban you. Like poor old Alex, who can't even fucking get a bank account anymore, right? So I know obviously a blog can be factually accurate, and the New York Times and the Washington Post frequently fucking aren't. But all I'm saying is if it's from something like the BBC website or the Wall Street Journal, at least, you know, it's got a veneer of respectability that'll please Silicon Valley overlords like my fucking nemesis, Susan, the winged harpy of fucking California. At least, you know, they'll leave me alone. So I know, please stop lecturing me about bloggers, because obviously you're listening to one, basically, right? I'll take anybody else's word over out the fucking Washington Post, definitely. New York Times, it's just comics. Chris Collins off. See you later, Chris. Thanks for coming. Turns out they've delayed funding for it, sort of on purpose. It says when Merck and Ridgeback Biotherapeutics announced that their new antiviral pill reduced COVID hospitalizations by roughly half, some in the media blamed Donald Trump. Ooh. Whoopsie. Roughly halves the death rate. Whoops. That's all they'll do. Whoops, he's gone now. Biden's in. Fucking winner. These people are so dishonest that they'd spend 6 months saying, oh my God, he wants to kill you. He wants you to inject yourself with bleach. Yet another fiction that we all know about, right? He didn't say inject yourself with bleach. He didn't say very nice people. He didn't say, there's about 200 different things he didn't say. He didn't say go and smash Capitol Hill up. He said the opposite. He said the exact words, peacefully protest. And apparently he said, go to Capitol Hill, fucking set the cunt on fire, gang rape a copper. Didn't say that. Didn't happen. He said peacefully protest. At worst, he said a few ambiguous things that maybe you could possibly take the wrong way if you tried. That's the word. He didn't say, let's go and violently assault the fucking Capitol. He didn't say the white supremacists are very nice people. All he ever did was condemn them. In fact, he literally used the term, I'm definitely not talking about white nationalists. That was what he said before he said the words, very fine people. But the New York Times and the Washington Post and CNN and the BBC and everybody else said, oh yeah, you know what Trump said? He said the KKK are fucking brilliant. Brilliant, they're my best mates, and they should be in charge of the country. Total fucking fiction. So they don't need to be honest, they just outright lie. They lie. People go, yeah, they lie by omission, they fucking just lie. Trump said very fine, but he didn't. You lying twat. Anyway, some in the media, let's replace that some with fucking most, as we discussed yesterday, because you know who's going to have some in the media. No, I'll tell you who'll have done it in the media. BBC, CNN, Channel 4, Sky News, Washington Post, New York Times, MSNBC, The fucking Guardian, The Independent, The Daily Mirror. You can just reel them off all day long. I don't even need to try. Some in the media, fucking all of them. Because this is why we're in the shit. Like I keep saying. The personal is the political. You can't have science anymore. They keep going, trust the science, trust the science. Well, I trust the fucking science. Vaccines, what, abortion, euthanasia, what else am I tolerant and liberal on? I trust the science. I've always trusted the science. I like fucking science. But the problem is, you lying rat, weasel, shithouse bastards. The problem is, you refuse to report anything, without sackfuls of political horse shit mixed in with the science. Will you? So, most of the media blame Donald Trump. Some in the media blame Donald Trump. Most of the media blame Donald Trump for a fucking drug that the Japanese have just said, well, we've done some trials and it fucking works. Done. I don't need to talk anymore, do I? I mean, I'm going to, because I'm a gobshite. But I could just stop the video here, and that'll do. Done. I've shot me bald. Right? I powered through the vinegar strokes. I've shot me bald. I've jizzed facts all over Anderson Cooper's face. He's like, oh, because he's loving it. I've done it. I've jizzed facts all over the mainstream fucking media. It doesn't need to get any more complicated than that. I don't need to read any more. The media blamed Donald Trump. Yeah, let's just start it there. The media blamed Donald Trump. And now we know it fucking works. Because from 775 non-hospitalised patients with at least one risk factor, being overseas, blah, 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 has shown the drug roughly halves the risk of hospitalisation or death. So there we go. In fact, should we call it there? Because I think that's a good place to fucking leave it. Yeah? Yeah. Bosh. The media blame Donald Trump. Boom shakalaka. Looks like the fucking thing works. So, if they delayed it for 12 months because they were playing politics, because, oh, there's something we can make Trump look like a fucking spastic. There's something we can make Trump look like an absolute psychopath. Oh, let's do it. Fuck the science. This is my point. You can't trust them now. They say, oh, the science, like it's a religion, science. You lie. You'll hide science if it goes against your political narrative. There isn't Republican science and Democrat science. There's just fucking science. There's just facts. There's just data. There's just experiments and hypotheses and fucking blokes in lab coats doing shit. And women, militant feminists. I'm well aware there's female scientists. They're just slightly less likely to study it because they prefer hanging out with children doing things that they enjoy. Which is why I'll never get 50-50 in the physics team's communist. But anyway, went off on a tangent. Yeah, sorted. Bosh. Media blame Donald Trump. Oops, looks like it works. Got a couple of extra million dead people, but who gives a fuck? At least we made the orange man look bad. Nice one. Fucking winner. Back pats all round. Let's go to a fucking exclusive restaurant. That's how bad it is. I can't make it any more simplistic than that. Absolute scumbag, shitbag weasels. They will kill old women and babies to get their fucking point across. Absolutely shocking. Shocking. And then look, the likes of Vox. I found one from Vox just to have a quick look at. Trump's 7-word statements. Oh my God. Fucking scum. Hitler. Literally Hitler. Literally Hitler. He started Operation Warp Speed. Literally Hitler. His address was horrible. His death rate hunch was wrong. Oh, that makes him a murderer. He's basically a baby raper. Put him in with Ian Huntley. They should be sharing a cell. He had a hunch and it was wrong. It's going to disappear one day. It'll be like a miracle. Well, frankly, everyone's getting terrified. I admire a bit of confidence. You need a bit of confidence putting back into the general public so they can live their fucking lives and enjoy being humans instead of living in perpetual fear like a bunch of fucking losers. That's why that old Thomas Jefferson quote's so famous about fear. What was the quote? Those who will give up liberty for a bit of temporary safety will get fucking neither. Because you're not alive. If you'd spend your whole life terrified, you're not living. You're dead on legs. Dead on legs. That's what you are. If you're a fucking loser and you spend your whole life terrified, you are man barely alive. Mike Bravo Alpha. MBA. We need confidence from our fucking leaders. They should have been talking like that. Not terrifying women and kids like a bunch of shitbags. And, yeah. Anyone wants to test can get one. Well, that happened, so that's not... What's bad about it? And, what else? A vaccine will be available soon. Oh, whoops. Whoops. Looks like they were wrong there and all, wasn't it? Whoops. Dr. Fauci said it'll be at least a year or a year and a half before a vaccine will be available. Well, I'm guessing Dr. Fauci was wrong then. When was this written? Okay, March. And we were jabbing people on the ground in December 2020 in England. So, Dr. Fauci was wrong. The orange god was right. Yeah? Winner. Winner. So, Vox, you should be fucking ashamed of yourselves. You kill old people. They love calling you that, don't they? Love, for the last fucking few years, they've been saying to you, oh, you're killing old people. You know what you're doing, you cunt? Your skepticism and your bravery and your fucking beating your chest and saying we should get on with our lives and go and have a walk on the beach and go to the pub and enjoy ourselves. They called you a granny killer. Who, turns out, someone was killing the fucking grannies. But it wasn't you, was it? It was Vox and the BBC and CNN and MSNBC and all the fucking lefty media shithouses who pushed a fake fucking narrative for a political point of view. And as I've said many, many times, don't ever let them talk down to you. They call you all the things they are. You say you're a science denier, you're not. Say you're a granny killer, they are. They say you don't care about science. No, you do care. I care about science. You care about political science. If the science works to make the Democrats look good and the lefty cunts look good, you love the science. If the science says it doesn't make you cunts look good, you go, fucking science. I like hopeless fucking pessimism. Much better than science. Yeah, but this drug looks like it halves the death risk. Fuck the science. Hopeless pessimism. Yeah, winner. Bollocks. Poke it up your fucking dirt box, Vox, BBC, Guardian. You are all human scum and you are not worthy of licking my fucking toenails. I was right, you were wrong. Yeah, I think that's a fucking great time to end it. I was right, you were wrong. This looks like it works. This looks like it was fucking bollocks. I need to go because I'm 41 and I've drank too much tea and other fluids and now I need to piss really badly. Sorry, long podcasts are for young people. Fuck knows how Joe Rogan does it. He must wear a nappy. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good weekend. Go out and enjoy your life. Don't stay in and be a fucking knobhead. And yeah, thanks for watching. Like it and share it and all that bollocks. Have a good weekend. See you on Monday. I'll do BBC Spews if I can be arsed. If I can be arsed.